Keep on catching these little guys in our house. Yep, you're on video. Well guys, beyond this pile of carts here, I'm going to show you what we just recently purchased for our property. We got ourselves a little subcompact tractor. Let me take this guy out and show you what it's all about. As you can see, we don't have a whole lot of clearance here, so we're kind of glad we didn't get any bigger tractor than we did. So if you saw our previous shed video, we obviously have put junk in here now. But what we ended up doing to support the foundation of our shed, we did put 6x6 underneath this tire, 6x6 underneath this tire, about 8 foot long. The tractor does go a little bit beyond that, so it's not all sitting on that support, but it does add a little bit of support for the floor joist going across. Then we also put a 3/4 inch or 2 3/4 inch pieces of plywood, which these days is not very cheap. I'm looking forward to lumber prices going back down. And then we bought a couple 1x6s, the one to put underneath the front tires because it does go a little bit beyond the plywood, and then another one to go under the bucket just to spread that weight out a little bit. Then we got these horse mats that are 1/2 inch thick and some plastic just to keep some of the oil and whatever leaks out of the tractor off that plywood. It is treated plywood. I got that just in case, but maybe overkill, but we were trying to make this barn last a long time. Either way, here is the new tractor. It is a Mahindra Emax 20s HST. I don't know if I said those in the right order, but that's what it is. It's literally the smallest tractor that Mahindra makes that has a front end loader. So that's what we ended up going with, because we wanted the front end loader to be able to move gravel, fix our driveway, stuff like that. Be able to have a little bush hog behind it, and also be able to have just different implements for around the house. And you can actually get a mid-mount mower for this thing as well. We did not opt for that this go around just because it does add an extra like 2 or 3 grand, and we figure since we're so far off the road, we don't need our yard to look pristine anyway. So we're just going to be using the rotary cutter or bush hog in order to clean up the grass around here. As I've already found out, I've done it once already. It doesn't cut nearly as even as a mid-mount mower or even just a finish mower that you haul behind, because it only has, here, I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, we ended up getting this tractor because, well, we're definitely going to be using it, and we're going to be taking this tractor out into the woods as well. You can see it has a pretty good amount of clearance to get over some rocks and stuff. So we're debating on getting like an ATV to haul wood and stuff out of the woods, but since this is fairly multi-purpose, I'm sure we'd be using this tractor quite a bit. We can't take it up the steep trails like we could an ATV, but we're able to take it on some of our flatter trails throughout the woods. At least get a wagon back there so we can haul wood back to the house a little bit easier. Just to show you a couple of the features on this thing, obviously it has the folding ROPS. Otherwise I would not be able to get it in that barn with the 5'10" clearance. So I'm about 6 foot tall, and I'm about a foot taller than this ROP system. So well, it goes up a little bit higher back here, but don't have a whole lot of clearance even with this down to go into these smaller sheds. So just keep that in mind when you're searching for a tractor. Obviously it does have the front end loader that has already came in handy. It built its own ramp getting into the shed here. Had a big pile of gravel and just hauled it over, and it took me about maybe an hour and a half to do compared to maybe a day if I was to do that all by hand. So already loving it so far. I'll go into more in-depth in future videos on this tractor. So if you are looking to get an Emax or something, maybe just subscribe. There's a bunch of other YouTube channels out there as well that can show you the ins and outs of this, but I do plan on going more in depth. Haven't seen a bunch of Emax, or at least this model, the 20s videos out there. There's a couple YouTubers that kind of dominate that scene, but just kind of show it from my perspective as well. But yeah, this has a little 6.6 gallon diesel tank. It is diesel. This is your engage for your rear PTO or mid-mount PTO. This is your high, neutral, and low speeds here. You can actually get up to about 10 miles per hour or so. I was taking this down a driveway in high. You just don't want to operate any of your equipment in high. You want to operate it in low. This is the raise and lower your rear PTO. This is your four-wheel drive, and I usually just leave the four-wheel drive on from the only 3 hours I've done this. So don't assume that I'm an expert at this, but it's definitely helpful around the hillier terrain when you're trying to do stuff. For this hydrostat, there's different models. Once you go to the 22 and the 25 Emax, they have the side-by-side rear and reverse, but here you have the reverse and the front pedal here. This is to lock your parking brake in place. This is to adjust your speed for how fast you lower your rear PTO, like raising and lowering it. And if you had a mower, this lowers the mid-mount mower, so you can adjust the height of the deck. And that's your locking rear diff over there. I'll get you a better angle. This is your locking rear diff, so if you are slipping and sliding a bit, you can use that guy to help you get out of a situation. I haven't used it yet, but could be helpful. And this is your brake over here, your brake pedal. So that pretty much conquers the floor here. So this is for rear and mid and mid PTO to see which one you want to turn there. You can actually have both run at the same time. I'm not sure when you would do that, but it can do it. Got a little, I guess, cigarette lighter or just a little 12-volt plug there. You can get your phone going. And a cup holder handles so you don't fly off. Just kidding. Seat belt to hold yourself in place when you're using those ROPs. It does come with this little flimsy booklet here, and I do have some couple tools, some extra pins in there in case somehow I lose one when we're driving around. I'll probably do some videos in the future on how to take the loader off. I probably won't actually take the loader off that much, just because we have a big enough yard. I'm just gonna mow with the loader on. It does make it a little bit harder, but I don't really want to take this on and off every single time I go mowing or bush hogging the yard, so I'm gonna leave that guy on there. Every single sales video I've watched, they're like, it's metal, not plastic, and honestly, I don't care that it's metal, not plastic. That wasn't a selling point for me. I'll tell you probably why here later in the video, why I got this one versus other tractors. Pop the hood, you just crank that guy back, and it is very easy access within this hood though, in order to get your maintenance and everything done in here. One thing I did notice is that it has this easy access screen, but the hose here, you would have to almost take this hose off every single time you want to clean the screen, unless you can somehow wiggle it around there. So that's kind of interesting. I can't go too in depth here because I don't have all the stats memorized. I'm just kind of giving you a quick little overview here, but it is a 48-inch bucket. Nice thing about these Mahindras though is these quick attach, they don't have the pin on buckets. These quick attach come standard on all the Mahindra Emax series tractors. Just a couple specs. The lifting capacity of this tractor is about 600 pounds at the pin. I think it's a little over 600 pounds, but you don't want to overlift what you have for the tractor. So 600 pounds is more than what we need on our property. I'm just happy I don't have to use a shovel anymore. So comparing it to me using a shovel, yes, it's very powerful. I think it is about 600 pounds lifting capacity in the rear as well. If you go to the 22 horsepower or 25 horsepower, that doubles, I think, in the back. And then you get about 900 pounds lifting capacity with the bucket compared to the 20 horsepower. But yeah, enough talking. This is just kind of a general overview of buying this tractor. I'm going to go ahead and get on this thing and show you what it can do. Alrighty, so we did get ourselves a couple implements. Right now I just threw some tarps over them because we don't have a good place to store them. I need to build myself a little shelter for them. But first guy here is just a 4-foot box blade. Might use this to help level out our driveway or smooth out some dirt around the property, whether that be on trails or just around in the yard. These teeth dig in and can move quite a bit of dirt. This guy's flipped over upside down, but we'll have to flip that guy around once we use them. Or you can actually take these off as well and just use the blade in the back. but it's just a 4-foot blade, so that's all our little tractor can really handle. I would not put a 5-foot blade. At least they recommend not putting a 5-foot blade on a small 20 horsepower tractor. And as you may have guessed, our other implement is the rotary cutter, or some people call it a bush hog, but this is a Titan bush hog. It's a 4-foot as well, so nothing too powerful or too big for our tractor, but as you can tell, it's still fairly good size. What I'm trying to do now is build some sort of way to be able to move the bush hog back and forth in the front, because I'll show you here in a bit, but getting this thing on is not very easy. Maybe some of you all can give me some tips on how to get the bush hog on and off. Well, that wasn't super smooth, but what I ended up doing is buying like a little furniture mover thing, 1,000-pound capacity. I tore a piece of pallet apart, or just bought a pallet for $1 from a local lumber yard. Tore the pallet apart, secured the pallet together, just boards laying flat so the pallet or the furniture mover had something to roll around on. Other people that have bush hogs know that these things aren't easy to maneuver up front. The wheel obviously in the back is easy to push around, but hooking this up, especially with the narrow Cat 1, put something under there so you can roll your bush hog back and forth in the front. I was able to hook this up in like 5 minutes compared to like 20 minutes trying to struggle to get it on the first time. So that might just be inexperience, but it definitely helps having some wheels up front to be able to move that back and forth. But yeah, to close up this little intro video, I'm just gonna do a little bush hogging around here.